Hey guys, Troy here from Gothic Hills Cemetery. This is part 2 and the final part of the setup process. I was going to do a third video with lighting and effects. Unfortunately, I've run out of time. It is Wednesday and we open on Friday, and I need to spend all my time working on getting this finished so that we're ready. But I will do a final walkthrough after everything is completely done, so you can see that. And if you want, come and see it in person, October 15th through 31st, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. in Riverside, California. All right. Well, let's get started.
So the first thing you're going to see here is me repairing a lot of things. This is our cemetery gate arch. I built this in 2020. I've always wanted an iron gate arch, but we lived in Silmar in San Fernando Valley at the time, and this did not fare well with the Santa Ana winds. I thought for sure when I was designing this that a 200-pound iron gate arch would not be a victim of our winds, but Santa Ana had other ideas, and this came down a couple of times. The lanterns on the side had been smashed, and a lot of the letters came off and things like that. Now I'm repairing the top of a salvaged trellis archway that I salvaged off of next door. It's going to go in the cemetery with some vine wreaths and flowers on it. I'm having a lot of trouble here because this piece is powder coated or painted, and welders require a current to go through the piece that you're welding to the gun of the welder. We're back in the cemetery here, and I'm setting up the archway and the columns. And I'm bringing out all the pieces to my big iron cemetery gate arch and setting them up. These used to be setting on permanent stone columns that were actually part of our landscaping in our old house. So now I have to set them on top of some fake stone columns, which I made in the previous video. I made this thing to be modular so that it could pack away easily. So it's the top arch, the two legs, and then there's the horizontal bar with the cemetery on it. It all bolts together. Now we're going to be working on more stuff in the cemetery. This is what we call the Crypt Ruins. They're big foam pieces of stone walls that basically form a ruined crypt, obviously. And we put rebar into the ground and then slide that down over rebar, just like the tombstones. And then it actually binds together with rebar as well. And then these are smaller pieces that make it look like the crypt is crumbling down. We secure those down with rebar as well. Now I'm going to be putting the tops on our columns. These are new this year. We always put decorative urns on the top with some old, sort of decrepit old plants that are untended. As you can see here, I had only measured the top of one of the column, the second column, to make the foam pieces that go on the top there. On the first column, you can see that the column itself is not square at the top, so it looks like it's wonky. And now it's time to fix Gary. Gary Grimm is our Grim Reaper. He likes to spin in the wind, so I decided I had to tie some guidelines to him so that he stays facing forward. I put him up several days before this, and we get a good breeze every afternoon from about 2 o'clock to 6 p.m., and he just spun around. And new gates. We didn't have gates because the old landscaping at our old house had gates built in, so we got new gates. And now I'm putting up what I'm calling the stone archway. Those columns are from our finale room in 2019. We had a big rotunda, we called it, and they did not survive the move from Somar very well, so we're very much scrapping this together. That archway, by the way, is from Knott's Berry Farm. They had some salvage stuff that they generously donated to us. And now I am bringing out pieces, more and more pieces. I'm sure the neighbors by this point were like, geez, how much stuff does this guy got? This is a sarcophagus, a foam sarcophagus that we built a couple years ago. And this is me struggling with the wind and not having all the pieces I need for it. This screws together with screws that I don't have anymore. They got lost in the last 2 or 3 years, so I had to figure out something to do with it. And the lid of it is broken from the move, so I'll be putting that together with some Gorilla Glue after this. This is where I'm gluing back together the broken seams of the lid and putting some sandbags on it to keep it together. It's now time to do what I call the set dressing, is add a bunch of stuff, decorations and things like that on top of all of the elements. Bring out all my bins. These also contain the pumpkins for the pumpkin patch, which you won't see unless you come and visit. We have a pumpkin patch behind the camera for the kitties. So now you'll see us, we're putting stuff into the cemetery, and also we like to make it look all overgrown and unkempt because it's a sort of ancient abandoned cemetery. So we're putting vines and foliage and things all over. The vines and stuff also help hide electrical cords and lighting that are running along the top of the fence there, pointing into the cemetery. And we're going to add some creepy cloth on there too, more camouflage and things like that. The very next day after we did this, we had an enormous windstorm. Luckily, not as bad as we did have at San Fernando Valley, but all of this was all had to be taken down. And
Well, there you have it. That's how we put together Gothic Hills Cemetery. And remember, come see us at Gothic Hills Cemetery in Riverside, California, October 15th through 31st, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And be sure to bring a donation for our charity partners.